So I feel Latios is being extremely slept on in this generation just because we have a few new toys that came out like Spectrier and Pokemon like Pheromosa are allowed and Genesect was recently allowed and banned. Same thing with Landers. But Latios is extremely good and very, very underrated. Let me tell you why. Because this Pokemon got some buffs this generation. Not only is it good versus like common Pokemon like Toxapex, but it got access to both Mystical Fire and Aura Sphere, allowing it to deal with its two biggest threats, right? Tyranitar, Heatran, and Steel types like Scizor and Ferrothorn. So Latios got some amazing buffs this generation, and I really feel like you should be using it, especially if you are playing the OU tier. So I'll be talking about a few sets that I think are really good, showing off maybe some clips as well. Shout out to Blunder, we'll be using his video for this, where he showed it off. And yeah, you guys can decide if you want to use Latios. So the first set we're going to talk about is Choice Specs. I think Choice Specs is amazing just because there's no more Pursuit. There's no more Pursuit in this generation. So you can drop a Draco, just like you would back in Pokemon Black and White, where Specs Latios was absolutely broken because there were no fairy types. And you don't have to worry about being Pursuit trapped by Pokemon like Tyranitar, Bisharp, or Scizor. And I think that in this generation as well, because there is no Pursuit, fairy types aren't as great of a switch in to Latios. And to explain what I mean by that is, before you had to pick, okay, do I go for Draco Meteor or do I go for Psychic? And if they have an opposing Pokemon with Pursuit, I have to be careful. Like if they have Tyranitar plus Clefable, I can't Psychic into Tyranitar because I'll be dead and they'll just pivot to Clefable. But now without having to worry about that, and the fact that Clefable has to run physically defensive for threats like Zygarde allowed in the current tier, Garchomp, and Kyurem Black, Pokemon like that, and Pheromosa, Specs Latios just hits that much harder. So Choice Specs Latios with Draco Meteor and Psychic are going to be your first two moves. Draco Meteor is your main Dragon Stab, and like I said, while there are a plethora of fairy types in the tier, Magearna, Clefable, Tapu Koko, etc., it's just still so good because all of those Pokemon, Tapu Fini, are 2-hit KO'd besides Magearna by Psychic. Tapu Fini also runs physically defensive right now as well for Pokemon like Pheromosa as well as Zygarde. Now, I actually don't think that Pheromosa and Zygarde are going to be in the tier for too long. Same thing with Kyurem Black, which I think will make Latios even better because making it get revenge killed, or getting rid of answers that revenge kill it, or a Pokemon like Zygarde that can live every hit besides Draco and glare back, it's going to up its quality. Now, I think that Surf needs to be ran on Choice Specs just because Heatran is basically everywhere. That mon is incredible, especially defensive. Scarf, Specs, doesn't matter. Just defensive in particular is really good right now because it deals with Spectrier, but it also deals with Pokemon like Magearna, it deals with the Tapus, and it deals with defensive cores like Toxapex, Ferrothorn, Tangrowth, Corviknight, whatever you want to run. So Surf is really nice because it allows you to hit that while also hitting a Pokemon like Tyranitar for super effective damage, as well as hitting Landers for a KO. So I think Surf is good neutral. Otherwise, Aura Sphere is decent too, for what I mentioned before, Tyranitar plus Heatran. But I think that you kind of need Surf right now. Because again, it's strong as well. Also hitting Pokemon like a Powdon very hard too. And I mean, Latios' natural resistances, allowing it to come in on Pokemon like Zapdos' Discharge, watch out for Paralysis, obviously. Just really ups it in this. And then Mystical Fire, I think, is a great last move. Not only are you 2-hit KOing Pokemon like Melmetal, but you're also knocking out Pokemon like Ferrothorn, Scizor. You're 2-hit KOing Corviknight as well, because we run Pressure in this one. They don't run Mirror Armor for the most part. As well as dealing with Magearna. And I think Mystical Fire is really cool because, like, even if you hit it on something that, like, say Magearna comes in, right, and it's Assault Vest, and you go for Mystical Fire, and you only do like 25-30%, that doesn't matter because, first off, if you really want to, you could stay in just because it's a 100% chance to lower their special attack, so you'll live a hit from Assault Vest Magearna. But the big thing is also you're easing the switching of whatever Pokemon you're coming in. Like if you know they're going to go for Volt Switch, you go Ground type, or who cares if they go for Aura Sphere or Focus Blast into Excadrill if they can't kill it because they're -1. So like it's such a good move because it opens up for itself. It's like Psychic as well. Like when Psychic is spammed, you have that 10% chance of special defense dropping. You're just dealing with a ton of Pokemon. So I like Specs really well, really good. I think that another set you can run on Specs as well is Future Sight. If you want to swap, if you want to put Future Sight on it, you can put Aura Sphere as well. Aura Sphere will let you hit, especially if you go for Future Sight, switch out, come back in, and you want to catch something like Urshifu coming in or Tyranitar. Future Sight's pretty cool because it's not hard to force switches on Dark types. When you go for Future Sight, they're going to go into either specific Dark types or Steel types. And Specs Future Sight is going to hit incredibly hard coming off of Latios' special attack stat. And the fact this is 120 base power after. And it's one of those Pokemon that you know this Pokemon is going to force into Pokemon. Like, I'm going to go for Future Sight as they bring in their Pokemon that deals with me. I switch out to, let's say I pair Latios with Urshifu because they go Tyranitar. I pair Latios with Urshifu. After I went for Future Sight, I have Urshifu in, and I'm free to click Close Combat. Doesn't matter what comes in. There goes something like Toxapex, they get nuked by Future Sight. So I feel like this is a really cool combo too, a more offensive one, and it abuses Specs plus strong breakers like Bandit Urshifu, Bandit Pheromosa, things like that. So they work really well together. Specs Latios plus Specs Magearna I like as well because very few Pokemon can take the combination of, besides Heatran, like that's why I said very few, can take the combination of Specs, Flare Cannon plus a Future Sight, coming out before. So this really works it out. I also think that Life Orb Roost is very, very good. It's a natural switch into Pokemon like Toxapex or not running Toxic, maybe even if they're running Knockoff, whatever. You have the bulk to eat hits from even Pokemon like Tapu Fini, for instance, after Mystical Fire, Tapu Bulu and stuff like that. I think I'll just show you a few clips right here, but like of Mystical Fire, Fini, and then Psychic doing it. But this is from Blunder's videos. You can see he brought out Tapu Bulu on Tapu Fini, and he doubled to Latios, anticipating the Scizor to want to come out because it's a pretty obvious Scizor switch, good play, and he could just click Mystical Fire, and it doesn't even matter if Fini comes back in because you're getting that special attack drop on them, and you're just able to, because Fini is going to come back in, but you're able to 2-hit KO with Psychic right after. So it's so strong because like you see, you get that special attack drop, so you're not going to die to Moonblast or whatever, and you'll go for that Psychic, you'll 2-hit KO them, yep. And he can just click Recover here too. That's why I like Recover as well, for the longevity versus teams like this, versus like balanced teams or even bulky offense. Roost is it's clutch. It lets you come in on bulky waters, or even when you throw something down. It's so nice too because like after going for Mystical Fire, which is why I like Mystical Fire on that set, but you have to probably run Aura Sphere or Surf because you have to be careful by Heat Ray, like I said. But I love the combination of that, how you're able to work with that. And as you can see right here, Latios is safely able, that's a crazy Dragon switch, but Latios was safely able to recover right there from situations. And here's another example where Recover really works. Turn 27 and turn 28, you see Lele come in on Psychic after, this is all he has left by the way, all these Mons lose to Latios except for Tapu Lele. Blunder has Melmetal and Toxapex in the back. There's a very low chance that Tapu Lele actually ends up going for a Moonblast here because he has 2 great resists in the back. So you're either going to go for Psychic or you're going to go for the Focus Blast, trying to raw predict Melmetal or trying to catch the Toxapex upon switching. As you can see, Blunder's just able to Psychic into Recovers, and right there, because Psychic does, or Focus Blast does nothing, he's able to switch it up with Psychic into Mystical Fire. Psychic into Mystical Fire basically KO a Pokemon. So it was just showing you, and I think another big thing about Latios is that its speed tier is really good. Being faster than Pokemon like Urshifu, especially Choice Locked Urshifus, is really nice because you get free hits, and as you can see, he gets a free Draco versus whatever the opponent had out. It was actually Latios that weakened the Celesteela, if I'm not mistaken, on this game too. Mystical Fire into like Urshifu. I could be wrong about that, but as you can see, Latios is able to claim a Draco. Like, I feel like even though Fairy types are great, right now they're so focused on dealing with the physical dragon like Zygarde, or they're just like, they don't resist Psychic besides Magearna. It just opens up Latios so much more. So I really like Draco Meteor, Aura Sphere, or Mystical Fire, Psychic, and Roost. You can run Surf over these two. It's up to you. Mystical Fire lets you hit Corviknight as well as like Scizor, and it's just good for like letting you 1v1 things with Psychic. And then there's Choice Scarf Latios, which I also think is was a little bit better during the Genesect metagame because some Genesects ran Scarf and you can just Scarf pop them with Mystical Fire. But it's decent because it can deal with Pokemon like Pheromosa and pick up the KO, non-Scarf Dragapult, non-Scarf Pheromosa. And it also cripples Pokemon too with Trick. I think Draco Meteor and Psychic are always going to be givens. Trick is cool because you can cripple something like a special defensive Heatran, and that Mon can live most hits, right? That Mon can deal with a lot of the metagames. So tricking and crippling that could open up a partner that would otherwise not like Heatran, or at least be worn down, or like even like running like a double Psychic or double Fairy Core or whatever versus that. Or stopping setup on that broken Magearna set that's Calm Mind, Stored Power, Draining Kiss, right? Stopping it that way it can't beat your entire team because you forced it to either go for Stored Power or Draining Kiss, and then you go to your Resist that hopefully can beat it at that point. And then your last move can be honestly anything. Defog is cool. I think Memento's cool for helping opposing setup or your other setup as well. And I think that it's just, like I said, I do think its best sets are either going to be 3 attacks Roost or Specs. I just think they do too much, and I showed you the blender clips as to why I think they're too much. This isn't necessarily supposed to be like a moveset video by itself, but I just truly feel like people are sleeping on this Pokemon. I think it also gets a lot better when Zygarde, if Zygarde, Kyurem, and Pheromosa get banned. Just offensively, it does a lot. And just being able to actually just check. And being a resistance to Rillaboom is a big thing too, because we all know Rillaboom's a great mon. I think people are sleeping on it right now because of what's around. It's still OU, but we all know Rillaboom is a fantastic mon. So like being able to just casually shrug off hits and that are not knockoff, obviously, and then roost them off is really good and hit it back for super effective or just a strong move. But yeah, Charge Scarf can run honestly anything as its last moves. Or Sphere, you can run Ice Beam for Scarf Landers too. Trick lets you cripple Steel types and anything. And then I think Calm Mind also has a place, though currently I can't see myself using Calm Mind. But Calm Mind Recover might actually have a place depending on how the metagame shifts. If we see a Melmetal go down or a Magearna ban as well, that can mean that Calm Mind, Psychic plus whatever can be super strong as well in the meta. So that's all I really have to say about Latios. I think that it is a very underrated Pokemon. I think that it matches up pretty well. Like if we even just go down OU. Does fine versus Blaziken unless Blaziken has knockoff. Blissey, like you can run Psyshock for on Calm Mind variants, but Blissey's Blissey, right? Cinderace can't switch in on it, which is pretty big. And also another big thing about like Scarf's Latios is that it does a decent chunk to Spectre. KOs it with 2 Stealth Rock switch-ins. KO Cinderace with a little bit of chip too. It can beat Clef. Like Clef can't switch in on Spec Psychics. Corviknight can't switch in on Mystical Fires. Ditto's a Ditto. Dragapult again, Scarf. Like I mean, Dragapult can 1v1 Sidari as well, but like it just matches up so well, like in terms of super effective damage or just not allowing too many switch-ins as well. It's just so good at doing that in my opinion, and yeah, you should use it. But thank you everybody for watching. Let me know your thoughts on Latios. I can cover other Pokemon like this too. I'm not necessarily, like I said, I didn't really try to make it a Moveset video, but I guess it was at the end of the day. But I just thought that, like, you know, this is one of my favorite Pokemon. People got to use this Pokemon. Alright guys, I'll see ya. Peace.